Ladies all around the world, listen up. We're looking for you. The time has come to be unstoppable together. The danger of executive women is worrying we're not enough, obsessed with perfection and failing to perform. You're in the right place. It's now time to be unstoppable together with Connie Five. She was the director of the United States Chamber of Commerce and CEO of Girl Scouts USA. Sit down, squat down, or lie down. It's time for Up or Out, all business with Connie Five, your unstoppable diva and chair of the Fife Group, helping women in leadership achieve excellence and be unstoppable together.
Hi, this is Connie Five, your unstoppable diva, and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie. You can find us on iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, the C-Suite Network, iTunes, 1,900 global networks in 145 countries. And be sure to subscribe with us on iTunes because you don't want to miss any of the good stuff. So if there's a topic that you want to hear or a guest that you'd want to recommend for the show, or maybe you want to be on the show yourself, send us a message to team5@fivegroup.com, or you could always go over to our website at uperout.com and you can register there as well. We love hearing from our listeners. So do you have a desire to move up in the boardroom, up in the C-suite, or maybe you want to go out and become that entrepreneurial leader that you've always dreamed of? Well, we have it all right here for you on Up or Out with Connie. But here's my quote for today. So let me start off by saying you are never wrong with what you think. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're always right. What is it that you want to do? Think about that for a minute. So we need to jump out to a sponsor break. We'll be right back, and we have a fantastic guest on the show today. So hang in there. Hi, this is Connie Five, your unstoppable diva, your host of Up or Out with Connie. I am thrilled to be a headline show on C-Suite Network, where you can grow your brand, grow your tribe, and be unstoppable. We are the hottest podcast for entrepreneurs, C-level executives, and market leaders. And you can hear me each week right here on the C-Suite Network. Also on Conscious Business Network, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, and over 900 stations around the globe. Be sure to follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Be bold, be connected, and be unstoppable. We're back and you're listening to Up or Out with Connie, and it is time to turn up the volume for Up or Out with Connie. Now, our guest today, our unstoppable guest for today. First, I have to share, full disclosure here, I had the privilege of sharing a taxi cab ride with him in New York City. And, you know, you kind of get to know people when you're in a cab ride around New York City. So I got to know him pretty well. And he works with individuals as well as organizations of all sizes, helping them connect with important people. He's a keynote speaker. He's a coach helping serious business leaders and helping them achieve their goals. He's a technology expert who believes in relationship marketing, and that is the most important thing that we could be doing to grow our businesses. So lately, he's been working on cryptocurrencies. We're going to hear more about this. That's in that space of blockchain, the Bitcoin, and all those other technologies that we're hearing about today. He's a member of the Speaker Hall of Fame and a certified speaking professional with the National Speakers Association. And you can find out more about him at his website, which is terrybrock.com. Terry, welcome to the show.
Connie, it is great to be with you today. Thanks for having me here.
Hey, no problem. So you remember that taxi ride we had together?
Yeah, we have a fun time, in New York together. It was great.
I mean, no matter what you do in New York, you have a good time. You have a fun time.
Yeah.
I just remember it was a rainy night and we're both standing there like, do you want to share a cab? Yeah, let's go. We just didn't want to get one anymore. So that was pretty cool. So now you're in sunny Florida and I'm in sunny California. But I'm really interested in what is the cryptocurrency space? Tell us more about that.
Well, it's something really exciting that we're seeing. It's the ability for people to connect with others and be able to exchange currency. It really is part of currency because when you have something like Bitcoin, you mentioned before,
Right.
Bitcoin is a way that you can say, "Hey, I want to get that microphone you're using there. I really like it. How much would you need for that?" And you say, "Well,
Mhm.
it's so much dollars," and I can translate it back to Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin, I could literally hold up my cell phone here, you hold
Right.
up yours, and I say, "How much do you want?" "Well, you want X
Uh-huh.
dollars," and it would
All right.
translate it over,
I got a
and
lot
then
of
I'd be able
zeros on
to
those
swoosh that
dollars.
over to you. Yeah, just like that. And the beauty of it is it would be very rapid with
Okay.
depending on the currency you use and the types
Right.
of coin that you're using. And your transaction fees can be very low depending on what you're using. The real
Hmm.
power is it gives people to have their own bank. They're able to do things that they couldn't do before. Many people around the world, in a lot of third world countries, particularly,
Right.
not able to get a bank account. And
Right.
now they can with this. It's much like, think about what it was like years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago,
Mhm.
when they had to write a letter by hand, write a letter or maybe use a typewriter and then
Yeah,
send it
what
through
is
the
that?
mail. Yeah, versus email.
Right.
And
Mhm.
today, if we got to send it fast, we wouldn't think about writing it by hand and putting it in the mail.
No, no. That's interesting. I was looking into that. So, I mean, so is that what the whole cryptocurrencies are and embracing blockchain? So I guess when I was looking at this, I was still not quite clear on how the usage of it. So so I guess what I'm looking at or where I'm going to is this taking over the banking system and and how they're doing things.
Yeah, well, the banking system is going to be around for a long time. I
Well,
mean,
I
it's
don't think it'll ever go away, but
yeah, but right now they are concerned about it. You can see central banks around the world are going, "Whoa, hey, what's happening here?" Because when you have this cryptocurrency, you don't need us anymore, and we can't inflate the currency.
right, that's what I mean. Like we're taking out the middleman now, and no, they're never going to go away. But you're going just like the post office is never going away,
Maybe.
right? That's always that. Oh, but people aren't mailing letters anymore. And I mean, I have a book of stamps. I probably have it for 2 years, and I had to use a stamp over the weekend. I was like,
Stamps, stamps. I remember that from a
oh
while
yeah,
ago.
what
Yeah,
is
I remember thinking.
that? Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's changing. And I say
right.
we're seeing dramatic change, just like we look
Yeah.
at email and what happened with that, just
Mhm.
like we look at music. I mean, how many times do we go out to our record store and buy from there? We don't,
We
and
don't.
even shopping malls, where they're being converted now into living spaces. And
Yes.
we realize, okay, we're adapting. But guess what? This is human nature. For centuries, we have continued to adapt. We
Yes.
change. And now they're hitting at something that is critical to all of us, and that is how we exchange, how we do business with each other. But
Right.
that is one part of it. You mentioned the blockchain. That's the underlying way of keeping track of not only Bitcoin, not
Right.
only the other cryptocurrencies,
Mhm.
but smart contracts and many other areas that need to be done so that you
Mm.
can rely on not a trusted third party, but
Right.
rather mathematics. And
Okay.
mathematics is something we look at and we go, wow, after that 2008 financial debacle that they put on
Right.
us, now maybe we're not going to trust those people that tell us we should trust them. And they're only going to charge a bazillion% in
Right.
fees. And I think that's the exact number, bazillion. We're saying, no, I would rather trust something that is immutable. It can't be changed.
Right.
Something that is done with mathematics and is much, much lower cost.
Well,
This
what's the protection there? I
the
mean,
protection is
how
that.
are you protecting yourself so you don't have all of these crazies attacking and going into your accounts?
Oh, I think it's really important because you
Mhm.
don't want that. And we realize
Right.
with the hacks that have been going on,
Yeah.
crazy do get in there. One of the things, think about it. Look at one recent as we're recording this was with Equifax,
Right.
where over 143 million people
Mhm.
had their very private information tapped into. I mean,
Right.
Connie, think about it. It's like they just said, now we know your social security number,
Right.
Connie. Now we know where you were, your mother's maiden name.
Right.
We know your favorite first car, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah. And you go,
Right.
whoa, wait a minute. That's a real invasion of privacy.
And knowledge is king today.
Oh,
It,
yeah. But you
yeah.
see, now with the blockchain, it's a decentralized network. Rather than
Okay.
putting all of the information in one place like they
Right.
did at Equifax,
Right.
bad guys think now, ooh, we can get all of that if we just break into that one place at Equifax. But instead, they use a distributed network. so that it's in hundreds of thousands of computers,
Okay.
all of which have the original record. But you see, you
Right.
have to have a public key and a private key. That way,
Okay.
what you can do is if you have your private key, you keep that safe
Right.
and you guard it. But your public key, people can then see the information and you can release the information you want, but only to those people that you want to have it, like
So
your
it's more
doctor.
secure. Right.
Or you needed a special physician to take care of something, you would give
Right.
it to that physician under these terms, and only then would the physician get it.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Because that was my biggest concern. Was that security because of what's been going on? It's been crazy. It's been crazy. So, what's some other dazzling technologies you're working on? I know you're like a tech guy. So, what else you have going on?
Oh, gee, the cryptocurrencies are really exciting and it's changing our world. But I also love one of the things you and I are using right now. We're
Mhm.
using Zoom.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful video. And I can see you right now, and you're looking wonderful today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I think you.
Absolutely great. And by the way, how am I looking? I look okay.
I
I
love
comb
the
my
I
hair
love
real
the
special
hair.
just for
I love
you.
the hair. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I did that. But you see, think about it. Those of you that are listening to this, we live in an era right now where it's able to do. We're able to do video
This.
around the world,
Right.
business with people. Oh, and by the way, I want you to know I'm going to go ahead and pay for this Zoom call today, just for you, Connie. How's that?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Since there's no extra cost, it's okay.
Okay, let's go.
But you see, I think it's really good that now we can unite the world. We can
Yes.
see each other. We can do business as well as have personal contacts around the world. My hope is that as we see this accelerate and we
Yes.
do more with it, maybe the knuckleheads that are in the capitals of countries around the world,
Yeah.
maybe we could be peaceful. Maybe we could get
Yeah.
along with each other better if we're actually looking at someone, we're hearing
Yes.
them, and we're looking at it from their point of view rather than just saying, oh, time to trot off to yet another war here because
I
our
know.
leaders say that their leaders are bad and we need to go shoot somebody that we don't
Right.
even know. But
Yes.
I'm thinking, wait a minute, let's have technology.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Help
bridge it
us
right here.
live peacefully.
I remember when I was at the U.S. Chamber and sitting there in a room, and we would bring in dignitaries from around the world, and and talking to each other and saying, what if we had the technology where they could stay in their own office, we could stay here and run this meeting? Never did I think, like 20 years later, here we are sitting here having this conversation.
We're doing it.
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
this with clients all the time. I show them
Oh,
how to
me
do
too.
it. Well, as you know, and we were talking before, I was a chief enterprise blogger with Skype.
Right.
And we would
Hmm.
work with that and we'd show people how to connect
Yes.
around the world, not just two people, but groups of people, so
Right.
that we really connect on a human level. We
Right.
build relationships. It's not about technology, it's about
It's
people.
about the
Connecting with each other.
relationships. Now I'm working with a group out of Dubai, and I'm going
Oh,
to
great
start.
city.
Yeah, so I'm going to start doing it this way using technology. They still want me to come there, and it's going to
Sure.
be a several week program to really get to know the people. And then we're going to follow up with another 6-month program using Zoom. And I'm going to have 30, 40, 50 people on Zoom at one time. And again, we would never have been able to do that before. So technology has been wonderful. But then I always look at, okay, what is, that negative side of it? And I mean, there are some, and part of it, and somebody brought it up the other day, like with STEM and girls, as they come up, they're not much into technology. So the way the technology is going, do we need to take a look at how we're educating, as they're growing up? And I said, I think that the girls are learning it as much as the guys are right now.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful that we can do that. I was listening to
Yeah.
Walter Isaacson, the author that wrote about Steve Jobs and Ben
Yeah.
Franklin,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
has
Mhm.
written about a number of different, now he's written one about Leonardo da Vinci. And I think he's
Mm.
right that we need to embrace many of these areas. People think, well, I'm
Right.
interested in literature. I'm interested
Yeah.
in English and words. Well, that's good. But you do need to know about capacitors and
Mm.
transistors. You need to know a little bit about this just to be aware of what's going on. And
Right.
those of you that are really engineering, you
Yeah.
also need to know about putting the sentence together properly.
Yes.
You know about how to get along with people for a
And,
change.
and emotional engagement. Yes.
Emotional, exactly. I think it's part of having both left brain and right brain. But I
Yes.
think even more, it's the yin and the yang. And the
Yes.
ideal is that we say, there are certain traits that are more attributable to women, certain traits
Right.
more attributable to men.
Right.
And I don't think it's an either or. It's like we
No.
need to understand and be able to have the best of all of it.
I'm married to an engineer. I mean, we are definitely the yin and yang.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Gina, my partner, she
Yes,
is an
yeah,
engineer.
the same
She's
thing.
got industrial engineering from the #1 school in the world in
Yes,
industrial engineering, Georgia Tech.
right.
They're better than Stanford or MIT in
Yep,
industrial engineering. So she is an engineer, helps me a lot, and I just love getting a chance to hear her point of view.
yep. I mean, and I just like Gina, and I respect his comments, his feedback, because I know he's looking at it differently than I am. So that's where that yin and yang comes, and how we all can be working together. We just have to find how we can do that dance together.
Absolutely. I think we have to step back and go, I want to be more curious. Tell me about you. And I find we do better when we go, you have an opinion that's different than mine, and that's okay. I want to hear,
Yes,
why do you believe that? Not in
right.
an argumentative way, but just tell
No,
me the underlying basis behind that. Why do you think that? Let's talk. Let
and
me
be
hear from
open
your point
be
of view.
open to hear that.
Yes.
And that's when we could say, oh, we can work together. We don't have to start another world war.
Exactly. Like, for crying out loud, go home and you're going to bed with no food tonight if you start another war, okay? We don't
That's right. Yeah, the slap on
settle
the
down
hand.
there, kids, and let's stop trying to settle it, because, hey, when you're dealing with nuclear weapons, I mean, this is pretty serious, Sparky.
Ooh.
It's a whole lot more than just some swords and some spears, okay?
That's for sure. Absolutely, that's for sure. My son-in-law is in special forces, and and he can't share, but the little bit that we do here, it's like it's pretty scary. Pretty scary stuff. Well,
Yeah.
Terry, we need to take a really quick break, but before we go there, let our listeners know how they can find you and find out more about what you do.
Well, I'm on the various social platforms you think of: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that. The best way to go and find all of that is go to terrybrock.com, and that's spelled Terry, and Brock is spelled the right way, BROCK. So terrybrock.com, and you can get all that information there.
All right, so hang in there. We'll be right back after we hear a word from our sponsor.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for more qualified leads? Podcasting is a great way to do that.
The podcast you're listening to right now is produced by Turnkey Podcasts, and we can do the same for you.
Over 100 million people listen to podcasts every month. 85% listen to the entire episode. Interview-based selling is 10 times more effective than traditional marketing campaigns.
Step into the new media space and let podcasting be your marketing, business development, and lead generation tool. Turnkey Podcasts can take you from concept to launch. Instead of taking months, we can help you get there in as little as 30 days. After the launch, we do all of your editing, production, voiceover guy, royalty-free music. The bottom line is we're going to help you generate more qualified leads using podcasting. If you have a podcast already, we can show you how to better monetize it.
Go to turnkeypodcast.com/contact for a free consultation to learn more. Turnkeypodcast.com. You need more qualified leads for your business. Let us help you find them.
We're back, and you're listening to WCONNIE, and joining us today is Terry Brock. Now, Terry works with individuals and organizations of all sizes, helping to connect with important people. He's an expert in technology. He believes in relationship technology, and he's working on cryptocurrency space using blockchain. Check out his website. You're going to want to learn more and understand more about this. He's just a phenomenal guy that you want to connect with. So, Terry, it is now time for the hot seats.
Woohoo!
Mhm.
I feel it's getting hotter over here already. We're in Florida. Woo-hoo.
Okay. Who was your first date?
My first day, I don't know if I can even remember.
Okay, we'll start a little bit easier than that. What's your favorite success quote? What's that one thing that really keeps you going?
I think it's always the new, the option of new and learning and stretching our brain. I like the way Dennis Waitley said it years ago when he said, you need a goal that is within sight, but out of reach. And so it makes you stretch, so that you stretch your brain, you learn a little bit more, stretch your body, exercise it within the right medical environment, do it
Yes.
right, and nourish your soul, treating that. That's what excites me every day. Find that as we do that, we're centered and we're really in line with where we need to be.
Yes. And that reminds me, the quote similar to that is, when I stop learning, I stop living.
Yes, exactly.
And that's exactly what you're saying. So did you know what you wanted to do right from the very start?
No, I was born at a very young age, and I did not know. Yeah. And so
No.
you don't know, and that's the beauty of it. We learn and we adapt as we go. What I wanted to do when I was in undergrad school was completely different than I'm doing right now, but that's okay.
Right.
It's kind of like you go down this hall and you wouldn't have noticed that door now on your left that you didn't see at the other side of the hall
Right.
until you go there. And then you go, oh, this looks kind of interesting. Things have
Yeah.
changed. And besides, the world is changing and adapting.
Yes.
And so you think, okay, I've got to adjust and change. Sometimes it's a little bit of an ouchie.
Yeah.
I wish it would stay the way
Yes.
that it is for me back in the good old days, whenever I thought with the good old days. But
Right.
keep adapting and changing.
But I mean, and we need to. It's that pivot. And
Yep.
there's something happens in our life that just, like you said, you see that door now, or you see things differently. And I mean, and that's where we need to be. We need to keep moving forward. We need to keep educating ourselves. And we need to keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep feeding your mind with new information, and not just the new that's out there. That's good. I'm in technology, so we're always looking. But I find I really enjoy spending some time with my friends who wrote books from long, long ago. Folks that are dead, but we can still read what they had to say.
We still
I can
learn a
read
lot.
about my old buddy Aristotle and his idea of logic. I can read about Thomas Jefferson and what he said, John Locke, and I can see what these guys had to say, Napoleon Hill. And
Yes.
Earl Nightingale, people that were very, very wise when they were with us. And fortunately, we still have their reading and the material we can get. And now it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Most of it is free. I mean, this is
Mhm.
really good. Connie, is free in the budget for you?
I think that'll work. But even all the books that you just mentioned, I have them all. I mean, I have bookshelves all over the house between my husband and I. I mean, we read. We don't watch television. We
Good for
don't,
you.
we just don't do that. And sometimes I'll have to put on just so I have noise when I'm making dinner. But we just don't do that. We're reading. So I love that. I love that. So what was one of the failures that you had, the one that you had that ouch, but it shifted you down the path where you did find your success?
Oh my, I've had so many of them. It's kind of hard to say. I find I have failures almost every day. And that's okay because we keep adjusting and changing. One thing I do remember, though, a very painful experience was back when I was in the first quarter. They were in the quarter system when I was getting my MBA.
Okay.
And my undergrad degree was radio, television, newspaper, all that kind of stuff. And
Okay.
we didn't cover at all anything about accounting. But when I went on for an MBA, they said, that accounting thing, Terry, it's really important here. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, I tried it and I really worked hard, but I ended up getting a D, as in dummy, on that quarter. And so the school sent me a little letter and they go, Terry, we noticed you got a D. You can't stay in the program if you get that. So we're going to give you another shot at this. You have to take that course again. I thought, oh man, I was feeling terrible.
not
My
yet.
reputation. So I went back and I'm going to do better. And I got a B, as in barely getting by. They sent me another letter. Terry, we did some math on this one. We found that a D and a B average out to a C, as in cute, but you got to do more. I just kept learning and learning even after those failures.
Right.
And I went back in the next courses, and every course I had in accounting and finance. After that, I finally learned the system and I got A's in all of them.
Yeah.
Not saying, hey, I'm cool. But what I did is I just relentlessly forced myself to learn something that was outside my comfort zone. My degree was a major in marketing, but I had to really understand this. And then what happened? I did well in it, got through it, and then I learned this thing called a cash flow statement.
Right.
And then at that time, they were coming out with these fancy schmancy new things called spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And so I took what we were doing on paper and pen
Right.
on the spreadsheets there, and I put it over onto the computer and ended up teaching CPAs around the country with the AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants,
Right.
and 27 state societies of CPAs. It was like I took the failure that was there, which almost crushed me,
Right.
and said, come back. Not saying I'm cool, but just those of you that are listening, think about those failures. Sometimes you have to get on those, and you're going to fall down. You're going to skin you. You're going to have blood. That's normal. Welcome to the planet. It works that way here.
That's right. I'm with you with the accounting or any of those type of classes. I was horrible. And I have a double master's degree, so I had to take even more of them. But when I was taking them, that was the only course I would take that semester because I knew I had to totally focus on that. Otherwise, I would have been getting a D as well. But I got A's, surprisingly.
Good for you. I like the way you said that, Connie, though. Totally focused.
Yes.
That's real important. And I find it's not just me, but throughout history, and as you read these really, really smart people, way smarter than me, they say, you've got to focus. Don't try to do 50 billion things at once, Terry.
That's
focus on that one thing and get her done, as
That's
Larry
right.
the Cable Guy would say.
Yes. Yeah, get her on. I mean, even your business today, I go by the three-legged stool. If it doesn't fit in that three-legged stool, then it's out. It just, you have to focus on that one area. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. So
Yep,
what?
absolutely.
So let me say my last question is: so you are a man of wisdom now.
Well, thank you. I'm learning. I feel like I'm in second week of kindergarten heading for a PhD. So I got a long way to go.
So what words of advice would you give to someone maybe, coming out of college or already in a job and they're saying, this isn't what I want to do? What words of advice do you have for them to help them pursue their path of success?
I would want to find out what their individual situation is. But in general, the idea is don't let the one job you have right now get in the way of who you can become. Learn from it, keep working hard, and give it everything you've got. Because you might not be doing that job a few years from now. Chances are you probably won't. But you can learn skills there. They're going to help you as you learn more. And the most important thing today, learn how to learn. Learn how to learn faster, how to read faster, how to memorize, how to connect with people. You learn those three skills. I don't care what happens 50 years from now in technology. You'll do much better if you can do that.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Powerful, powerful words. Well, Terry, I want to thank you for being here today. Again, one more time, Terry Brock. You can find him on his website at terrybrock.com. So, Terry, thank you for being here. You're awesome.
Well, thank you, Connie. You too. You're awesome. Real honor to be with her. I love being unstoppable together, you and me today.
Well, our time always goes by so quickly. Be sure to subscribe with us on iTunes because you don't want to miss any of the good stuff. Need some expert advice? Go on over to our Facebook page, Up or Out. Every day we're adding some more information from me, from our guests, from folks just like you that are providing tools on how you can achieve your success and learn how we can all be unstoppable together. So if there's a topic that you want to hear or a guest to recommend, just send me an email at team5@5group.com. So it has been great having you here today, and ask yourself, if you could do something different to get a different result, what would that be? I'm Connie Fife, your Unstoppable Diva. And until next time, be bold, be connected, and let's all be unstoppable together.